From light sculptures to street murals
to art in the park,
to theater, from hip-hop to film festivals, to hidden treasures of Western art, and so much more. So hey, look, we've been all over Denver checking out all of the cool art that makes Denver so unique. On this edition, we're going to take a look back at some of our favorite moments from this last year. Hi, I'm Bobby Lefebvre. We love to showcase the wide variety of art in our town. To start, let's look at some of our art moments.
We are raising awareness for reforestation.
40% of our oxygen comes from trees, the rest comes from the oceans. Once they go, then we will be in serious trouble. We're working on an art installation called The Blue Trees, which is really trying to highlight the issues of global deforestation and the importance of trees using, I guess, an artistic expression.
Roses of blues on the hood, candy apple red paint sure looks good. Chop and channel just for the show, and let's see how low can you go. Shave the hood and the deck to a point ignition, it'll be high tech. Hot rod fever way down in my soul. I got hot rod fever way down in my soul. Just give me a set of wheels, I'm gonna let them roll.
Show me something beautiful. Prove to my rib cage that it's not a prison but a protector by flooding my ventricles with optimism until the muscles that create smiles go on strike for unfair working conditions. Give me something to believe in. Unplug yourself from pain. Use the USB cord from a beam of sunlight to charge energy into your soul. Use the wind from fluttering butterflies' wings to dry your tears. They will teach you a metamorphosis is possible. Sing songs in the tune of hope. Write love letters to the fallen stars that have granted your wishes. Try counting beauty marks instead of scars. Dream in miracles. You can watch the full episodes of these shows at youtube.com/Denver8TV. You know, we've met some outstanding people along the way this year. From the youngest, the kids of Family Theater Company, to 94-year-old Dorothy Tanner, the incredible artist of Lumonics. Is light a metaphor for anything? What does the light in the work represent to you?
Enlightenment,
Enlightenment.
music, and light is very healing. And being able to leave the self that you're accustomed to carrying around and find other areas of your persona that are there, but now you are able to recognize it.
When you're in an orphanage, it's a hard enough place for us.
We are a theater company that serves actors with disabilities of all different kinds, including physical, cognitive, intellectual, and emotional. I think we try to get people on stage for artistic opportunities. We do plays and musicals. We also do educational programming and original writing and performance. So assisting people of all kinds to find their voices, find their confidence through performance. I think disability tends to be something that, you know, in society at large, we're afraid of. Like, we don't understand it. Bodies are different, minds are different. You know, we feel like we're obligated to accommodate, when really I see disability or different abilities as a creative opportunity.
So now you're in rehearsal for Annie.
Annie, yes.
The musical Annie. It's an awesome show. What about this particular production resonated with Family?
I think ultimately it's about courage in the face of adversity. You know, you have a bunch of orphans who have kind of been discarded from society for various reasons, and they're still going. And Annie is persevering most of all, and keeping her optimism even in the face of like really challenging circumstances.
When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you've gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, I'd love you tomorrow. You're always a day away.
Some awesome art by some awesome artists. So we're here in the East Side at the site of Crush Walls, where you can check out some of the city's most magnificent mural work. And speaking of outdoor arts, we have featured some fun and unique pieces from all over town.
Add a 1, add a 2, add a 3, and
We're painting the falcon. Frankie the falcon?
And this is the mascot here at Trevista.
Chalk and paint brought color to the street at Trevista Elementary School in the Sunnyside neighborhood in North Denver.
We're creating an intersection mural to help increase a great sense of place and kind of pride in our neighborhood and our neighborhood school.
My daughter just started in the ECE 3 class, so I was excited as a parent also to be able to support the school, and we thought it made perfect sense for us to connect with Trevista and get people from the neighborhood together to come out and support a fun project on a beautiful day.
A hidden landmark, slated for demolition. A group of local urban artists. With spray cans or paintbrushes in hand, they create temporary testaments to their community under a bridge. The I-70 viaduct between Colorado Boulevard and Brighton Boulevard is coming down as part of an expansion program to replace the aging infrastructure.
For so many years, these viaducts have been such an eyesore to this community, and they've just become part of this landscape, almost like an urban decay. These were built in the 1940s, and they're well past their shelf life.
Oh, I think we're returning safety and art and color and beauty to this stretch of 46th Avenue underneath the viaduct, and I think it's a sign of the change that's coming. It's
the same sort of spirit and beauty we'd like to bring to the project in the future.
It's not only about bringing Denver to the world, but bringing the world to Denver. So this is an opportunity for Denver to really support the cultural plan and also supports our diversity, equity, and inclusiveness initiative.
Our city has some fantastic community programs.
We are on our way, finding ourselves every day.
So we were actually founded by 3 members of the Colorado band Flowbots, all of whom went to Denver Public Schools. And they really wanted to harness the power of music and the energy behind it, not just for music's sake, but to get people involved in their local community, to get them civically engaged. So really, we were a seed idea about how to use music and the arts to create positive social change. So our programs are actually geared towards older students in the district. Our kids are typically between the ages of 16 and 21. They're the oldest in Denver Public Schools with the least amount of high school credits.
Okay.
And over 90% of our students are students of color.
Wow.
So we're working with about 1,000 teenagers a year now. Before Youth on Record, our students who were knocking at the door were chronically truant. And they're not gonna get up on a Friday morning for early class. But they are gonna get up for that class if their teacher is Diego Flores and Mace Windu and Bianca McCann and Susie Q. Smith. I mean, these legends in our town, those are who their music instructors are.
Now remember, you can check out all of these episodes at youtube.com/Denver8TV. We'll be back with more Art Scene on the other side. All right, so we're back on Art Scene, taking a look at some of the amazing art that we featured over the last year. There's been some cool events here in Denver.
Today we are gathered together to celebrate one of the only men to capture my heart, my dear friend and loyal subject, Sir William Shakespeare.
Oh Romeo, we're forth as our Romeo. Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Come on, get out. She's dead.
Let the festivities begin!
A sea of Shakespeareans filled the streets of Denver as they paraded their way to the Performing Arts Complex. So tell us a little bit more about the history of Castle Martin.
The building itself was built in 1889. First owner was a man named Wilbur Raymond. It was designed by William Lang, who was the foremost residential architect of the late 19th century here in Denver. Built over 250 homes, downtown office buildings, several churches, quite a prominent man. The exterior construction is rhyolite, Castle Rock lava stone. It's all quarried down near Castle Rock. It's very unique. The walls are 22 inches thick.
What's unique about the Summer Art Market is that so many of the artists are your neighbors and friends and family, so you have an opportunity to meet and interact with all of the artists in their booths and talk to them about what their creative muses are, what their inspiration is, and really understand what's behind the work that they're selling.
we're joined by Ron Henderson, co-founder of the Denver Film Society and the Denver Film Festival. So 40 years.
40 years.
That's quite the feat there.
There was a small group of us who were kind of interested in film and the arts and culture in Denver. And we got together and met and was wondering kind of what was not available in the arts world and the cultural world in Denver. And we decided a film festival. So in May 1978, we launched 10 Days in May. It was really an experiment. We didn't know whether the community or the media would respond to it, but it was really, truly an overwhelming success.
I used to hear him rapping at the park every day. Sounds of color covered by clouds of thunder hovering down as a hummingbird about in the summer.
You are here for a reason. The question is, what or who do you believe in?
If you're strong in who you are, what you're about, your mission, and you're proud of yourself, you could do anything, right? And we say, yeah, we're doing poetry, but more than that, it's about being powerful.
It doesn't matter where you're from. They come in and you get accepted. Yeah. You know, you bring a good voice and you bring your heart with you, and that's it. That's all you need.
Hey, y'all, I'll break you off the way the cars play up on base with weight batting up. We came a long way. Cafe Cultura came a long way. Colorado, CU, y'all came a long way. Make some noise for yourselves, y'all.
Denver has some amazing museums with unique programs and exhibits, including a failure lab and, well, I don't know, Star Wars.
We'll end up over here by one of the most modern works in the collection.
Wow.
By an artist named Kim Wiggins. Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I love his use of color. It's so bright. And his trees are almost like Dr. Seuss trees.
Absolutely.
They're just really cool and curvy. He's a really cool guy. So he's a living artist. He works out of Roswell, New Mexico.
Should you fear failure?
Putting your art out into the world is really terrifying. You're taking a risk.
Everybody thinks of failure as being something you should avoid.
Failure Lab is an after-school internship for 12 high school students from the Denver area. What we do is we plan events for teens at the Museum of Contemporary Art, and we also work with visiting artists.
The way that our education system is set up is perfection is really an ideal point, and it's really what is advertised as being like the utmost importance. Programs such as this and just the advertisement of failure being something that's sort of beautiful in a way is really important.
It's an exhibition that was originally put together by the Smithsonian Institution for Traveling Exhibition Services. And they partnered with the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, and realizing that they had never had a traveling exhibition on the Star Wars costumes. So they put together 60 costumes and this wonderful exhibition to travel all over the country. And of course the Denver Art Museum was excited to bring it to Denver. Yeah. But as the Denver Art Museum, we always have to make it our own, and so we added a bunch of stuff, and I'm excited to show you. This is the very first storyboard for the opening frame of the original Star Wars. So this is about 1975, the first vision for that opening crawl.
Sure.
And you can see how it's a little bit different than what it ends up being, but still a vast sea of stars, and you can see the movement, so the intention was there.
We featured an episode of my web series, Welcome to the North Side, which discusses gentrification in North Denver.
This is a palm pie.
Oh, so it's basically an empanada.
Oh, but it's not.
Have you ever had an empanada?
Yeah.
It's exactly what they look like.
Not exactly.
Yes, it is. What's the difference between a palm pie and an empanada?
Okay, a palm pie and an empanada are not even close.
They're identical.
Not on the inside. They're not. Okay, a palm pie is far more complex.
So palm pies are more complex than empanadas?
Yeah.
How so?
We're curating chef-driven contemporary street cuisine here. Okay, we're not just slopping together whatever we can find into our dough, which happens to be gluten-free. It's urban nouveau.
But Maria's down the street's been selling these since like the 60s, man. Yeah. You're not doing anything new here.
But Maria's doesn't taste anything like these. If you've got an educated palate, you can really tell the difference.
Well, Maria's has always been good enough for the neighborhood. In fact, she's always got a line out the door, so.
It's apples and mangoes, so.
And what makes the ponzu exotic, exactly?
It's tropical. Look, are you gonna buy anything? Because I got a line forming here. Well, they're coming.
I mean, they smell delicious.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Let me have one.
Great. Which one did you want?
Chef's choice.
All right, we're gonna do the wild boar.
What do I owe you?
1 for 15 and 2 for 25.
Wait, what? Maria's are like $2 a piece.
But where does Maria source her beef from?
Music and dance are a huge part of Denver's arts culture, from flamenco to hip hop and much more.
Yeah.
First started Queens of Hip Hop 8 years ago. It was a student organization at Metro State. The student organization was called Hip Hop Congress, and one of our members wanted to do a fashion show, something for Women's History Month. Like, hey, let's do something cool. And then we thought, oh, why don't we do like an event that highlights women in hip hop, female DJs, female graffiti artists, all of the elements. And then that's when we came up with Queens of Hip Hop, and we've been doing it ever since then.
Yo, give it up for the all-female showcase at Queens of Hip Hop.
I would just say every single B-girl I've ever met has inspired me, no matter what age they are, like what race or whatever. They all inspire me in different ways, and I feel like I have like somewhat of a part of all of them that helped me become who I am now. But especially like Asia One, for example. A few years ago, I was doing a battle and she came up to me afterwards and was like, yo, you're really dope. I'm gonna help you train to become even better. And that for me was like a huge experience, and like it was amazing, and I'm still training with her and getting better, and so I feel like she especially is one of them.
I've reached out to some women here already, young women and girls, and given them our cards and said, you know, if you want to come be a part of this, we're very welcoming. We're all different ages, from middle school to, I'm probably the oldest person in it. I won't date myself, but I'm one of the older people in it. But we really believe in the mentorship tradition of hip hop.
All of our shows have local openers, and then we have an eclectic mix of national and international emerging artists that'll come through this stage. A lot of artists that people have heard of, or artists that people are just starting to hear about. You know, we look at it, we think of ourselves as tastemakers for the community, and we're here to introduce you to new music instead of the stuff that you're just used to listening to.
We've spared no expense at this venue, so what you can expect to see is really quality production, quality music, quality acts, and a super family-friendly, fun environment.
Well, without further ado, y'all have waited long enough. I'm so proud to present to you Slim Cessna's Auto Club.
She met a man today by the look upon his face.
Wonderbound uses dance to deepen humankind's common bond through uncommon endeavors of discovery and creation. All of our productions are created through collaboration, and all of our productions are with live music.
Not only do we have 10 dancers who come from all over the country, we also work with about 35 partnering organizations every year and as many as 65 to 70 local Denver artists.
Musicians, visual artists, actors and actresses, magicians, people build puppets for us.
Through collaboration, we're able to kind of step outside ourselves and start to see our form in a different way.
In addition to showcasing great art from all over the city, we also brought some artists into the studio for demonstrations. So here are a couple of artists and some special guests.
That's the path that multiple snails made, walking sort of,
and
over
used
each other.
an X-Acto knife to cut
And I used an X-Acto
out their
knife.
pattern. This is gorgeous.
So what happens basically in this process is it's so ephemeral that they become lost. My hand erases the line that they've made.
Oh, this is so cool.
As they walk around. The snail trail that they leave behind, which is called
that up.
slime, is very delicate, and it flakes off and it disappears.
Okay.
And so I see this as a metaphor for how we deal with nature.
Oh yeah, I love
When I'm cutting out the paper, my hand is erasing what they've made. So in a way, that's kind of how it is with humans and nature.
Yeah.
And so any collaboration we have with nature has an impact. Yeah,
at
see,
that.
here they go. It's always really funny when they pile up
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I would take them off, put them back in their tank, and
Sure.
then start cutting around.
Right.
Basically what I'm trying to do is preserve the marks that they made as
Okay.
true to form as I can.
What have you been doing pulling a figure out? What's your process?
Well, it varies from painting to painting, but in this particular case, I decided to develop the area that will eventually be the area of the most focus. Pull this area up first, and then deal with the background as I continue to develop this.
What do you want people to get from your work?
I'm really after something emotional.
Okay.
Some sort of response to the work.
Nice.
Whether it's good or bad.
In the scope and landscape of contemporary art, and a lot of artists in big cities doing very very abstract things. How do you stay really in the style you're doing in that landscape of art that's moving from almost anti-painting?
I think there's still an audience for every type of art, and I just feel blessed and fortunate that there are people that collect this type of work.
Hey, we hope that you've enjoyed our retrospective of this last year. We look forward to bringing you even more great arts and culture this upcoming year as we discover more of Denver's art scene.